Attention candidates. If you found your way to this frequency, you've likely noticed the glitches in the matrix. The physical symptoms, the emotional vertigo, the sense that your reality is stretching. You aren't losing your mind. You are undergoing a mandatory hardware upgrade. Today we are declassifying the source-bound manual, the foundational blueprints for the new Earth operating system. This is no longer theoretical. It is biological. Stay present, stay grounded. Let's dive into the schematics.
Okay, let's dive in. We're going to unpack a user manual for something you're using literally every second of every day, but let's be honest, you probably never read the instructions for. And that is your own consciousness. So if the world has felt a little weird lately, and maybe you've been feeling a little weird in it, you're in the right place. Think of this as your guide to the new software update.
Have you had those moments, that random bit of vertigo when you're just standing in the kitchen, or these sudden, huge waves of emotion that come out of nowhere? Maybe it's just a strange feeling of urgency, like you're supposed to be doing something, but you have no idea what. It's a feeling a lot of people are having right now, almost like your internal operating system is getting an upgrade you didn't ask for, and the release notes are totally missing.
Well, here's the good news. You are not going crazy. The material we're digging into today suggests this whole thing isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's a system-wide upgrade. The idea is that the planet itself is going through this massive renovation on a physical, energetic, even plasmic level. And this is your guide to the new blueprints.
So where on earth do we even start with something like this? When you first try to understand what's happening inside you, you hit a wall pretty fast. There are just so many different maps, so many conflicting ideas out there, it's really hard to know which one to trust.
I mean, take the chakras, for example. It's a classic starting point, but the Hindu tradition lays out 7 of them. Some Buddhist systems work with 5. Then you've got other lineages talking about 9, 12, you name it. And of course, that leads you to the big question. So, who's right? Which one is the real map? Well, here's a really cool way to look at it, and it comes from a cognitive scientist named Donald Hoffman. It's called the interface theory of perception, and what it suggests is that our senses, everything we see and touch and feel, it isn't objective reality. It's more like a simplified user interface. It's like the desktop on your computer. You don't see the circuits in the code, right? No, you see a nice little folder icon that you can click. It hides all the crazy complexity so you can actually get something done.
And this is where it all clicks into place. From that point of view, all those different chakra systems, they aren't competing for the truth. They're just different sets of desktop icons. They're different user interfaces that different cultures designed to interact with the exact same universal hardware. They're all just tools, not literal photographs of what's going on.
Pause the transmission for a moment. This concept of desktop icons is critical. One may also see them as QR codes that unlock new sites. We aren't here to argue which spiritual tradition is right. We are looking at the universal hardware beneath the icons. Whether you call it a chakra or a chi processor, we are talking about the same biological antenna. Remember, the icon is just a tool. Don't worship the folder. Access the data.
Okay, so if we have a way to think about how we're perceiving all this, let's get into the what. What is actually changing? And this is where we get to the core idea in our source material, the Great Renovation.
So check out this metaphor of the human house. It's brilliant. For the longest time, humanity has been living on the lower floors, survival, tribal stuff, personal power, ego. The heart, which is like floor 4, was kind of the rooftop, a special place you'd visit. But what this model says is that the planet's entire foundation has shifted. The frequency has changed. The rooftop is now the new ground floor. We're all being asked to learn how to live from the heart as our new starting point.
And that right there, that perfectly explains why you might be feeling so wobbly. That sense of vertigo, the weird emotional swings, the exhaustion, it's the feeling of your body literally learning how to stand on a floor that's vibrating at a totally new frequency. You are learning to walk on brand new ground.
But here's the great news. Our bodies are apparently built for this. According to this manual, we actually come pre-installed with some seriously advanced hardware that's designed to handle this exact upgrade. So let's take a look at the blueprint for our own energetic systems.
So this model asks us to stop thinking about chakras as just mystical symbols and start seeing them as functional biological hardware. They act like chi processors, kind of like transformers, stepping down this super high voltage cosmic energy into a current that your nervous system can actually use. They're also like dimensional antennas, able to tune into the different frequencies and perspectives of all the floors in this new house. And your entire energy field, your aura, it's basically a container that's being pressurized so it can hold more light.
Candidate alert! If you've been feeling an unusual pressure in the chest or a sense of wobbliness in your daily life, you are experiencing the heart lobby renovation. The old 3D basement is no longer the foundation. You are learning to walk on a floor that vibrates at a higher density. If you feel wobbly, it just means you're recalibrating. Use the field training protocols if the pressure becomes too intense.
Okay, so this leads us to the really big question, right? If our bodies are these incredibly complex bioenergetic vehicles navigating a massive planetary upgrade, who or what is actually in the driver's seat?
The sources give us this incredible nested model of self. So right here, right now, you've got the 3D finger. That's you in your body experiencing the world through duality. You know, me versus you, this versus that. But that finger is connected to a 4D hand. That's the soul, which exists outside of our normal sense of time, kind of managing many different lifetimes or fingers at once. And that hand is part of an even bigger 5D field, a level of awareness that sees the whole game, not as a fight between light and dark, but as a balanced, functional circuit.
And these amazing hand-drawn maps here are basically two different attempts to visualize that very thing. They show that the little you, the avatar you're playing in this planet game, is just the very tip of the iceberg. You're like a single nerve ending connected to this vast, multi-dimensional consciousness that stretches all the way back to what we might call source.
All right, so what do we actually do with all this information? This is the best part. The last section of our user manual is all about how to apply it. It's about shifting from being a confused passenger during this upgrade to becoming a master builder of your own experience. And here is the absolute key takeaway. According to this model, the goal isn't to escape your body or float off to some other dimension. The real work, the whole point, is integration. It's about teaching the 3D finger how to remember its connection to and hold the perspective of the 5D field. It's about bringing all of that higher wisdom down to earth, into your body, and into your daily life.
And as we start to wrap this up, it is so important to remember this. Look, I get it. This has been some pretty far out stuff. The chakras, the drawings, the whole finger and hand metaphor, they are all just symbols. They're a finger pointing at the moon. Their whole job is just to get you to look in a certain direction. But please, don't get so obsessed with the finger that you forget to look up and have your own experience of the moon. So what we've done here is take a tour through a new kind of user manual, one for your own consciousness, living in a world that is fundamentally changing. These blueprints, these maps, they're just a guide. They are not the law. So the real question, the one that only you can answer, is this. Now that you have the manual, what are you going to choose to build?
Well, the schematics have been delivered. You now have the user manual of your own consciousness. But as always on Multi-D TV, we remind you, do not get so obsessed with the finger that you forget to look at the moon. These maps are here to guide you, but the embodiment of these frequencies is up to you. What are you going to build with these new blueprints? I'm Elijah. This has been a Multi-D TV special briefing. Logic meets magic. Stay bound.